The youngest person ever nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. And as her week in New York is wrapped up, she didn't win, but she did sit down to talk with our very own Christiane Amanpur.
The thing is, they can kill me, they can only kill Malala. But it does not mean that they can kill my cause as well. My cause of education, my cause of peace, and my cause of human rights, my cause of equality will still be surviving. They cannot kill my cause.
Joining me now from New York is our chief international correspondent, Christiane Amanpur. And Christiane, this young woman, she is now 16 years of age. She is passionate. She has conviction. Where does it come from?
You know, I think she's a prodigy. Every time I see her, I'm just absolutely stunned by how ungirl-like she is and how incredibly woman-like she is. She's able to articulate her passion, her dreams, her desires, even after being shot in the head only a year ago. She was so lucky that the bullet didn't pierce her bones, her brain rather. Some bone fragments did, but she's made a remarkable recovery, and she consistently keeps up that spirit of really revolutionary zeal, and that is to bring education to all Pakistan, but most especially to girls. And you wonder, where does she get this from? She comes from a small village.
She comes from the small village. This is all about education. And then in the world, Christiane knows so much of her story, but there's so much that we don't, because we know she went to this Pakistani hospital. She was then flown to Birmingham. And I know there was this British doctor, Dr. Fiona Reynolds, who happened to be in Pakistan and was instrumental in her care. Not many people knew about this woman, Christiane. What's the story there?
Well, I think it's really important to state that the Pakistani doctors, the medical surgeons, the military surgeons rather, did save her life initially. For instance, they stabilized her and they saved her life with very, very rapid operations after she was wounded. But then the aftercare was not satisfactory, and quickly her vital signs started to get weaker. And it just so happened that this Dr. Fiona Reynolds from the specialized hospital in Birmingham, along with a Dr. Javeed, who is also Pakistani-British, were in Pakistan on a different mission, and they were asked to come and look at her. And Dr. Reynolds, interestingly, is very shy of the spotlight, and she says, look, I'm a doctor, patient-doctor, conversation is confidential and privileged, but Malala insisted on telling the whole story, on telling the truth, and therefore that is how I became part of the story. But her role was absolutely instrumental.
So here we have with Malala this outer circle, if you will, of support, right? The doctors, the staff, but then you have her family, and specifically Christiane, her father. Tell me about their relationship.
Oh my goodness, it is remarkable. You know, I know because I grew up in Iran, which even then was a male-dominated society, and I remember my mother telling me that when her friends, you know, had girls, you know, the dads were just distraught. I mean, some even wept at the bedside. My mother had 4 girls. My father, luckily, was very evolved, and obviously, so is Ziauddin Yousafzai, because when he had his little girl, he also had 2 boys, he said he was thrilled. He looked at the face of this little girl and thought she was miraculous. And he, from somewhere deep in his upbringing and his situation, is a rare commodity in the villages of Pakistan. He is a free and progressive thinker, and he wanted to bring education not just to all the children, but specifically to girls. And he knew that that is what he wanted to do with his life. He set up a school, and that is where Malala went to school. But I think we ought to also understand that she's taken an incredible burden on her shoulders. She and her family are carrying a very heavy cross. The Taliban has continued to say they want to kill her, and if she continues to fight this fight, she's also recognizing that she's doing it at the possible cost of her life.
Revolutionary zeal. I like how you put that. Christiane Amanpur, thank you so much. And you can catch and watch the premiere of The Bravest Girl in the World this Sunday night at 7 o'clock Eastern, right here on CNN. Christiane, thank you. Coming up next, some relationship advice you probably never heard before. Wait for this. Controversial sex columnist Dan Savage has some savage love for you right after this.